Blessings, beautiful beings. Thank you so much for joining me for practice today. If you would like to grab the usual, if you have not joined before, then normally I have a couple props. So I'll have a bolster, just this big purple kind of pillow looking thing, a couple of blankets, and some blocks. If you don't have those things, that's perfectly okay. It's not 100% necessary that you have them, but if you have some blankets or pillows or anything lying around, you can grab that. And then if you have any like old textbooks or something like that that you can sell back, you can use those as blocks, or just any big books. Again, you may or may not use them, so it's going to depend on your body and your practice. But if you want to grab a few things and have them gathered in case you feel like you might like to use them, that's fine too. So we're going to get started in a comfortable seat. So you can come to cross legs or just whatever feels good in your body today. If you would like to, also, if you do have a blanket or a pillow or anything like that, you can bring that underneath your hips to kind of lift up your hips a little bit, and it eases some pressure on the knees. So we're going to start really low and slow and just breathe and find our center depending on every time I do this, Fritz comes over, so Fritz is coming to say hello too. He wants to ground and center as well. So depending on what you were doing before you hit play today, let's just get centered and get ready for our practice and just really focus on what we're about to do and really getting back into our bodies and maybe out of our heads. You were just getting off of work or something like that. So you can rest. Yes, shake. Thank you. So you can rest if you're not shaking your dog's paw. You can place your palms on your knees, facing up or down, it doesn't matter, just whatever feels comfortable to you. And then you can soften your gaze, or if you feel comfortable, you can lower. Just go ahead and close your eyes. And we're going to focus on our breath for just a few moments. Take a nice inhale, focusing on how the air feels as it enters in your nostrils and then moves down through your lungs and down through the rest of your body. Then as you exhale, you can focus on the warmth of the air as it leaves your body. So it should feel, when you inhale, you can focus on the coolness of the air around you. And then as you exhale, you can focus on that warmth as it leaves your body. And it doesn't matter if you're breathing in through your nostrils and out through your mouth, or it's in and out through your nostrils. Again, do whatever feels comfortable to you today. And while we're taking this time, if you want to set an intention for practice day today, you can. It's going to be kind of a low to the ground practice, not super high impact. It's going to help us really come back into ourselves and focus back on us instead of everything else outside. Move some energy around to help the body heal just mentally. There's a lot of crazy energy out there right now. We're still in Mercury retrograde, so for another 4 days from the time I'm recording this. Everyone's energy is kind of crazy right now. The dog's energy has been crazy. So let's just take this time for ourselves and get back to being centered and grounded so we can work on our own healing and not project that out onto others. And then this time, go ahead and exhale through your mouth. Just let it go. If you yawn like I did, that's okay too. And then when you're ready, if your eyes were closed, you can slowly open them and get reaccustomed to the area around you and what's going on. And then we're going to start to warm up the body. So first we're going to start with some really small neck circles. Now when you do these neck circles, don't go all the way back, tipping your head all the way back. Keep it nice and small. So imagine you're like circling a plate with your nose. And we can start small. So let's just start really, really small, going in one direction. And then as you make your circles, just get a little larger. So maybe you start with like a salad plate, and then you move to a dinner plate, and then you move to a platter. So just really loosening up our neck. Bring your shoulders down. Make sure they're not coming up by your ears. That's not relaxing at all. Fritz, come here. Come here with that. Frankenstein monster? No. Back later. Alright, so once your neck circles are good size, we'll say flat dinner, platter size plate, let's go ahead and reverse that. Keep it as large as it was, and then gradually make your circles smaller. So we're going to come back to where we started. Alright, and then once you've had enough of that, just go ahead and bring it to stillness. And then we're going to continue to warm up. So go ahead and place your right hand flat on the mat next to you. And then we're going to extend our left arm up towards the ceiling. Take a nice big inhale in, and on an exhale, tilt towards the right. So you should feel a nice stretch through that left side. And breathe. Make sure that on this arm that's extending over, so your left arm, that it's not, you don't have a earmuff. So make sure your shoulder's nice and pulled down. You don't want our shoulders creeping up by our ears at all. Your next inhale, return back to center, and on an exhale, drop that left arm back down to the ground. We'll take just a couple breaths here, kind of compare both of your two sides. And then when you're ready, let's go ahead and place our left palm flat on the mat. We'll extend our right arm up towards the ceiling. Inhale, straighten, and on an exhale, come across that midline towards the left. And make sure your shoulders aren't coming up towards your ears, and you should feel a nice stretch on that right hand side. And don't forget to breathe. On your next inhale, go ahead and return to center. And on an exhale, lower that arm down. You can kind of shake it out. And just breathe. Alright, so now we're going to get a little bit more warmth in our spine. So we'll take our left hand, go ahead and place it on your right knee. Then we're going to take our right fingers and we're going to swip them around behind us. Inhale, sit up nice and straight and tall. And on an exhale, turn towards the right. Now don't force yourself into this position. Don't turn or crank. Be kind to your body. Just go only as far as feels good in your body. Maybe on your next inhale, sit up straighter, and on an exhale, twist a little bit more to the right. And breathe. After your next exhale, go ahead and return to center. And we'll take a couple breaths here just to compare the two sides. All right, now we're going to move to the other side. So we'll take our right hand, place that on your left knee. Take your left fingertips, swim them around, place your left fingertips behind you. Inhale, sit up nice and straight and tall. On an exhale, turn your torso towards the left side of your mat. Maybe on your next inhale, sit up a little straighter. And exhale, turn to that left side of your mat again. And remember to keep breathing while you're here. After your next exhale, go ahead and return to center, and we'll just sit here for another moment and breathe. All right, so now we're going to transition onto all fours. We're going to warm up the spine a little bit. Now, if you've been with me before, you know I'm sure you probably think I'm going into a cat-cow, but I'm not. I'm going to switch it up on you guys today. We're going to change it up a little bit. You can keep your blanket or towel if you were using one for underneath your knees if you have sensitive knees. I'm just moving mine for now. But feel free to keep that under your knees if you'd like some extra padding. So go ahead and come to a nice tabletop position here. And then let's take our right hand kind of to the midline of our body. So not directly under our shoulder, but kind of over to the midline and up a little bit. On an inhale, go ahead and lift your left arm up towards the ceiling. And on an exhale, we're going to take that left arm underneath our right arm, come down onto our shoulder, and then come onto our left ear. So we're going to thread the needle. And you can bend that right arm as much as you need to. If you'd like to walk it out for a little bit more of a stretch, you can, or you can leave it in for stability. You should feel a nice stretch through your upper back and through the spine. And just keep breathing. After your next exhale, go ahead and return to center. Reposition your hands if you need to. Just take a couple of breaths. Feel how your back feels. Alright, then when you're ready, we're going to go to the opposite side. So I'm going to bring my left hand in a little bit closer to the midline. Then I'm going to extend my right arm up towards the ceiling. That's all on an inhale. On an exhale, I'm going to take my right arm underneath my left arm and come all the way through until I'm on my right. Get my hair out of the way. Until I'm on my right ear, on that right shoulder, and then I'm just going to breathe. Again, you can walk the hand out if you'd like a little bit more, or you can leave it in for more stability. You should feel a nice stretch through your back. Okay, we'll take one more breath here. When you're ready, go ahead and return back to your tabletop position. We'll just take a couple breaths here. All right. When you're ready, let's walk our hands just one fingerprint or one handprint above where we were. Really dig your thumb, your pointer, and your middle finger into the mat. Really feel connection with your hand in the mat. And we're going to tuck our toes under. Inhale, look forward. And on your exhale, we're going to lift the knees up off the mat. Start to straighten through the legs. Shift the hips up, back, and down. And coming into our first downward facing dog. Now from here, you can walk your dog by bending one knee and then the other. And when you're ready, go ahead and move that into stillness. Now your feet do not have to, your heels do not have to hit the mat. They can be up like mine are. You should be feeling a nice push and pull from the front body to the back body. So I like to think of energy coming up from the ground through the front body, down my back, and then rolling back down through my back body, off my heels back into the ground. Alright, when you're ready, let's go ahead and lift our right foot up towards the sky. And we're going to lift it all the way up this time. And when you're ready, go ahead and drop that, bend through your right knee, drop your foot behind you, and then start to open up through your hips, so like a three-legged dog. And breathe. Take one more inhale. And on an exhale, go ahead and shift your weight. Bring that knee through all the way towards your chest. And when you're ready, step that knee in between your hands. So we're going to come into a low lunge. So lower down through your left knee. And then make sure that on this right knee that it's set up at a 90-degree angle. And that you are pushing that knee out towards your pinky toe so that you can see your big toe. You can come up on your fingertips if you'd like. Just keep a lot of length up through your front body. You could also use blocks or books or whatever you have here to bring the floor up to you also. Make sure to keep breathing here. And after your next breath, go ahead and tuck the toes on your left foot, lift the knee up, and then we're going to step our right foot back to meet our left foot. Inhale, look forward, shift forward. So we're going to come into a plank, nice, or actually push back through your heels. Don't shift forward just yet, just push back through your heels. So we're going to come into a plank. Keep your back nice and straight. If that's too much pressure, or if that's not in your practice, I guess I should say, lower your knees down to the floor and just do a half plank. That's going to work your abs too. All right, after your next breath, go ahead and shift forward on your toes and then lower slowly, slowly, slowly all the way down to your belly. Bring your hands underneath your shoulders. And on an inhale, peel your forehead up from the floor. Bring your chest up slightly. So we're going to start out in a little baby cobra. And just breathe here. After your next exhale, go ahead and lower your forehead back to the floor. Tuck the toes under, and then you can push yourself to all fours or push all the way back up to a plank, but we're going to meet in a plank. And then on an exhale, shift your hips up, back, and down, coming back into another downward facing dog. So just take a few moments here to breathe and kind of cool down a little bit. right, after your next exhale, this time, make sure your right foot is really firmly planted on the ground. We're going to lift our left leg all the way up towards the ceiling, and then bend at that knee and bring your hips towards the center of your mat. And then breathe. So coming into this three-legged dog. After your next exhale, or actually, go ahead and take another inhale. And then on your exhale, go ahead and sweep that knee through and bring that knee up towards your chest, shift forward, look forward. And then on an exhale, plant that left foot in between your hands. You can go ahead and lower the right knee down, and we're going to come into a low lunge on the left side. Again, make sure that your front knee is at a 90-degree angle. Keep a nice lift in your chest. You should feel a nice stretch through the right quad. When you're ready, make sure your hands are nice and firmly planted on the mat. We're going to tuck our right toes under, lift that right leg up off the floor, and then step our left foot back to meet our right. And we're going to be in a plank here for just a moment. Make sure you're not collapsing through the back and you're not rounding or collapsing. So make sure you're nice and straight. And when you're ready, keep your elbows nice and close to you and slowly lower all the way down to your belly. All right, once you're here, make sure your hands are placed underneath your shoulders. And on an inhale, peel the forehead up off the mat, look forward, coming into a baby cobra. Now this time, if you're a little bit more warm, you can push through the hands and rise up a little bit more, coming into a full cobra. If you have any crunchiness in your back or if this hurts, lower down. Make sure to keep breathing. One more breath here. And on the exhale, go ahead and release and lower all the way back down to the floor. All right, this time we're going to tuck our toes under, and either you can push yourself up into a plank or you can come to all fours and then come into a plank. Either way, you choose whatever works for you today. And then on your next exhale, go ahead and push back through your hands, lift your hips up and back, straighten through the legs, coming into another downward facing dog. Again, we'll take some time here just to breathe and kind of cool off a little bit. Right, on your next inhale, look forward, and we're going to make our way to the top of the mat. So you can hop, you can take baby steps, you can take a couple big steps, just whatever works well in your body today. And we're going to come into a forward fold. Now make sure you have a little bit of a bend in your knees here. And if your hamstrings are really tight, bring your feet as wide as you need to. So on an inhale, look forward, come up to a flat back. Exhale, lower down. This is another place where you can use blocks to bring the floor up to you if your hamstrings are really tight. You just want to make sure that you're not rounding and collapsing through the back. On your next exhale, we'll go ahead and roll up. Go ahead and lift your shoulders up, back, and down. You can kind of shake it off a little bit. We're going to come into a nice mountain pose. So really ground through the feet. Bring your arms at your sides, shoulders. It helps me if I move my shoulders to bring my shoulder blades back down and to lift my chest up. Make sure you're not pushing out, but you should be a nice straight line. Head over heart, heart over pelvis. and breathe. You can close your eyes if you'd like. All right, from here we're going to warm up our quads a little bit more. So imagine that you're at well, we're in football season right now. So imagine it's football season, you're at the game, and their bathrooms are always gross. They're always gross. They're never clean. They're nasty. So you need to go to the bathroom, but you don't want to sit on it. Any ladies watching this, you know exactly what I mean. So we're going to go into a chair pose, but really it's just training you for those instances where you're going to have to hover. So you can bring your feet as wide or as narrow as you need to. So again, it's going to depend on your body. But when you're ready, go ahead and start to sink your hips back and bend at the knees. Now, you want to make sure you have a lot of length in your back, so don't do this. Instead, straighten through the back and really sit down. Now, for your hands, or I guess tuck your pelvis would be a better way to say it. Now, with your hands can be doing anything. They can be here, they can be here. You can bring them up by your ears. We're just going to take a couple moments here to breathe. Just really feeling the strength in your quads. You might feel a little shake, a little tremble, and that's okay. On your next exhale, rise all the way back up, let it go. Shake it out. Come back into that mountain pose, and we'll just take a couple breaths here to really breathe. Alright, so now we are going to turn towards the long edge of our mat. Bring your feet out really, really wide. And we're going to take up some space. So this may seem silly, but that's okay. It's kind of like, so I know you're here, it's kind of like the power pose, your Superman or woman, super person pose. You're seeing their chest up, it's supposed to convey confidence, I know, in different arenas of jobs. I've heard this said to do this to build confidence before an interview or a project or a presentation or something. So we can do that also. But we're going to go a step further. So we're going to take up space with our legs, but we're also going to take up space with our hands. So instead of your hands being here or somewhere else, let's go ahead and stretch our arms out. So we're coming into like a big star pose. We're taking up space. So I know a lot of times before we heal, it can be from anything. I like to contract into myself. And that's great. That's awesome for healing, and while you're going through that healing process, going inside and working on yourself and healing what needs to be healed. I don't want to say fixing, but healing anything that needs healing, and then you get done with the healing process if you're ever really, I don't know that you're ever really done with the process, but once you start to heal, then you have that you're vulnerable, and it's hard to go back out and to take up space sometimes. So we're going to use this time to take up some space just right here on our mat. Then hopefully that will give you the confidence that when you go out, when you step off of this mat, to take up space in your life. Sometimes our wounding is done because we're not being true to ourselves, and we're not taking up space, and we're shrinking ourselves to fit into somebody else's box or container or their plan or whatever it is. So really use this practice to break free and come out. And I'm here, I'm going to take up space. Okay, once you're ready, go ahead and drop the arms. You can bring the feet in. Let's go back into one last mountain pose. So you can close your eyes here. You can just feel that energy rush through you after that big star pose. And if you're not at the top of the mat, go ahead and come back to the top of the mat. Your next inhale, reach your arms up towards the sky. And on an exhale, shift your hips back, rain it down, coming back into another forward fold. Inhale, come halfway up, flat back. Exhale, lower back down. We'll take a couple breaths here. Right after your next exhale, go ahead and make sure your hands are planted firmly on the ground, and then lift your heels up off of the ground, and then slowly start to come into like a little ball. Okay. Once you're here, let's walk our hands back behind us, and we can come into a nice, comfortable seat. Actually, I'm going to spin around and extend your legs out. We're going to stretch out our hamstrings a little bit more, but we're going to do it seated this time. So go ahead and bend your knees as generously as you'd like. So I'm going to bend them pretty generously here to start. Sit up nice and straight and tall. On an inhale, lift your arms up, and on an exhale, come forward, and you can grab your feet if you'd like. Keep your back nice and straight. And breathe. Now, if it's in your practice, you can start to straighten your legs and come into more of that forward fold. You could also bring any bolsters or blankets. You could bring them up on your legs too. And you know, you may not be able to come all the way down and grab your legs and bring your head all the way down to your knees like this, and that's okay. If you can only come here today, that's fine. If you can come here, that's perfect. Go to where it feels comfortable to you. So if you can grab your toes, grab your toes. If that's as far as you go, that's fine. If you can come lower, that's fine too. If you can bring your head all the way down to your knees, go ahead and do it. And you know, if you need your knees to be bent, and then you want to come over, do that too. You have options. Again, it's going to depend on your flexibility for the day. It can vary by day to day. Sometimes I can get my head all the way down with my back straight. Sometimes I can't. Today's not one of those days. You should be feeling a nice stretch through your hamstrings though. Alright, on an inhale, go ahead and come back. And we are going to transition onto our back. Let's stretch out our back a little bit. So go ahead and bring your knees into your chest. You can wrap your arms around them, or you can just hold on to your knees. Again, whatever feels good in your body. You might want to take a little rock back and forth, or you can be in stillness too. Or maybe it feels good to bring your head up towards your knees. Again, listen to your body. You have some options. Do what feels good for you today. Now let's all go ahead and squeeze into a little tiny ball. So go ahead and bring your head up towards your knees, squeeze everything in, Get really tight. Make all your muscles super tight. Tense all of them. Just really squeeze inward. Just squeeze, 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 squeeze. And then on an exhale, let it all go. You can send your legs out long and wide. You can bring your hands out at a 45-degree angle. We're transitioning into our final pose, corpse pose, Shavasana. So make any adjustments that you need to, get any props that you need to make it comfortable for you. So you could cover up with a blanket or bring a bolster under your knees. And then you can close down the eyes if you're comfortable with that. And just let everything go. I'm going to go quiet for just a moment. Just know that I'm still here, and I will come back to guide you out of this posture momentarily. For those that have practiced with me before, you know that I always pull an oracle card for a message for the practice. For those of you that don't, now you know. But today I pulled the card of Snake Spirit. And its message is time to heal. And I pulled it upside down, so it means that there's actually a protection message behind this. And that message is, no matter how much you may have lost or how you have been disappointed, you are called by Snake Spirit to shed the past and practice radical self-acceptance now. Only by forgiving yourself can you move on, regardless of whether anyone else is ready for healing. When your tender new skin first becomes exposed, you may feel uncomfortable. Love yourself and remain vulnerable anyway. You have been weak, but now you are becoming strong and developing wisdom, and you will do better in the future. Snake Spirit reminds you that hearts can be so easily wounded. Apologies and amends go a long way. Self-forgiveness for your role in what happened can help you heal. Remember, it is the one who has been wounded who often has the greatest power to help others heal. If you are able to stay in Shavasana, then stay in that final relaxation pose for as long as time allows. If you need to get going, then slowly start to deepen your breath. Begin wiggling fingers and toes, bringing movement back into them. And then when you're ready, go ahead and roll on to your favorite side. And then just come into a little fetal position. And when you're ready, go ahead and slowly push yourself up, bringing your head and neck up last. So thank you so much for spending this time with me and your practice and your energy. Um, Thank you so much for subscribing to my Patreon channel. I really appreciate the support. Um, Please share this channel. You can also share my YouTube channel where all the videos are with others. That would be amazing if you think it might help somebody else. And I hope you have a fabulous rest of your week and day. And I will see you again soon. Namaste.